Welcome to the penultimate round here with the BRSCC Mazda SuperCups. This weekend we're nestled in a lovely little haven at the northeast countryside at Croft circuit. We had a surprise rainfall this morning which caught out both top contenders Luke Herbert and Jack Harding, which meant they're starting way down mid-pack, which means the door's wide open for pretty much anyone to take the top spot of the podium. And that's race one about to begin, so we're going to hand it straight over to Andy to run you through the grid.
Thank you, Lyndsay. Well, there is the championship leader, Jack Harding, lining up on the grid, but some way down the grid, unfortunately. It's James Baldwin and Will Stacey that make up row one, ahead of Steve Roberts and Luke Herbert, second in the championship, just 4 points adrift at the top. Lewis Carter and Simon Baldwin are on the third row, ahead of Nick Dunn and Colin Bysouth on row four. Bradley Kent and Aidan Hills still with an outside shot at the title is 10th. Then it's Richard Wickland, Johnny Greensmith, Carl Garnett and championship leader Jack Harding all the way down in 14th place on the grid. Well, this is actually the second race of the weekend in theory. There was a race yesterday that was abandoned due to an accident and barrier repairs because of the timetable constraints. It wasn't time to get the race restarted, so this will be the first of just 2 races this weekend here at Croft. 5 to go in the 2018 championship race. Who's going to be the champion? Well, this race could go a long way to deciding that. The lights go out, away we go, and the all-blue number 1 car of Luke Herbert, 4th on the grid, dives to the outside of Silverstone race winner Will Stacey. He's gaining ground already. It will, though, be James Baldwin that leads them down to Clervaux, but Herbert is challenging around the outside line. Luke Herbert knows that this is a really good opportunity for him to take even more points out of Jack Harding. He is just 4 points behind the championship leader coming into this weekend. Of course, losing that race from yesterday means that Luke has one less opportunity to take some points out of him. They leap through the chicane for the first time, down the back straight. You can see Johnny Greensmith there, his car repaired after yesterday's incident. On board with the leader of the championship, Jack Harding. Well, we've seen him fight back from deep in the field before. He's already started to make progress, goes to the inside of Colin Bysouth into Tower Corner. Colin will have no choice but to let Jack Harding go through. That will put Jack somewhere towards the far reaches of the top 10, I reckon. Luke Herbert up there in the top 3. There's more work to be done. Remember, there are 2-point increments for each position out on circuit. So 100 points for a race win, 98 for second, 96 for third, and so on. And so at the moment, Herbert would be looking set to take some good points out of Jack Harding. There's a long way to go. 20-minute race here this morning. We've got a good battle going on here for 4th position. That's the 73 car of Lewis Carter challenging Will Stacey, the all-blue machine. Those two just becoming a little detached from the leading 3, who are James Baldwin, Luke Herbert, and Castle Coombe winner Steve Roberts. There is Jack Harding going on the inside of Greensmith there through the right-hand element of the complex. That puts him on the outside line for the hairpin. As they all stack up on the inside, he might be able to find some momentum there, which he does, and pick up another place. There's almost a bit of paint trading there with Greensmith. He gets in the toe of Simon Baldwin and draws himself ahead as they go down the pit straight. Aidan Hills there in car number 8 is ducking out of line, trying to go around the outside of Lewis Carter into Clervaux corner. Lewis holds his own on the inside line. He's able to keep the 73 car in 5th position. That's just losing them a bit of ground now to Will Stacey in front as they go through this never-ending right-hander at Hawthorne, back onto the back straight. But look at the progress that Harding is making here. He's already well inside the top 10, in fact, and looks set to make another move here on Simon Baldwin as they go down the back straight towards Tower. Is the number 43 car going to be close enough to go up the inside line under braking? He thinks about it, but can't. Aidan Hills, though, does go up the inside of Lewis Carter, so Hills gets himself into 5th place, and in fact that's about to become 4th place. But look over to the right-hand side, there appeared to be a slowing car, which I fear is Steve Roberts. There he is. Oh, Steve Roberts, well, that is a new car this weekend. Remember, his old one was written off in his Castle Coombe accident, and unfortunately, this new car, provided still by the excellent and very professional Rob Boston Racing Squad, unfortunately running into some mechanical issues. There's an economics though for Jack Harding, who is continuing to cut his way through the field. Another move made there. There's a car on the grass, which is Will Stacey up in front of us. This could maybe give Jack Harding more ground if Will Stacey loses momentum. He does lose momentum, but not enough to lose any positions. So this is now the fight for what is essentially 3rd place there with Stacey, Hills, Carter and Harding. It just goes to show how well Jack has done in the early stages. Remember, he started this race 14th. He gains another spot now with a really late jink up the inside of Lewis Carter at the hairpin. So Jack Harding now, remarkably, is running inside the top 5. 5th position for him. James Kell is off, unfortunately. Looks to have pulled off somewhere down towards Tower Corner. He's down near the braking zone as Aidan Hills is up the inside of Will Stacey, goes through, and Jack Harding's going to try and follow him. Jack up the inside in towards Hawthorne. Another peach of an overtake. It doesn't seem to matter what you throw at the youngster, relative youngster. Jack Harding still is able to work his way into a good points-paying position. Remarkably, if things were to finish as they are now, he and Luke Herbert would once again be tied on points. There you got a glimpse of Luke running in 2nd place, 3rd for Aidan Hills, looking to try and continue this remarkable podium run. The man who won our most recent race, the 3rd race at Alton Park last time out, is having now got that 1st race win, looking for more. He is still an outside bet for the championship. He's 36 points off the championship leader. He's got the championship leader right behind him though, and you'd have to say at this stage of the race, Jack Harding looks the quicker of the two. Sideways there through Croft, down onto the brakes into the Sunny complex, Sunny in and then Sunny out, and Jack Harding really starting to give Aidan Hills a real workover now as they make their way through the 2nd of those 90-degree right-handers up and over the hill, and Aidan Hills driving very defensively. Now there are the leaders, James Blake Baldwin and Luke Herbert. What is going on for 3rd place though? It's still Hills who's hanging on here. Look at the train of cars behind. We've got Harding and Stacey, but they are really they're only the first 2 drivers starting to apply the rest to Aidan Hills. There is about a dozen cars lining up behind the Alton Park race winner. Quite keen to find a way through if at all possible. And across the start finish line they go again. Jack Harding in the tow, but you can see they didn't get a great exit from the hairpin, so Aidan Hills is actually able to scoot away slightly down towards Clervaux Corner. Throw the cars into the right hand, and that is Johnny Greensmith, and he's had a pretty substantial whack with something or someone, because the front left corner of that car is not supposed to look like that. Unfortunately, that's his 2nd non-finish of the weekend after yesterday's race was null and void anyway, so I suppose it doesn't count as a non-finish, but he ended that race with a damaged car and a damaged tyre barrier as well. Unfortunately, today's race not going any better. Right, 3rd place, Jack Harding, right on the tail of Aidan Hills. Looks left, looks right, still can't find a way through. So he goes to the outside line on the way in, trying to carry a bit more momentum off the corner, which might just work. Aidan Hills slides a bit wide, and the AK Automotive machine is not quite alongside down towards Jim Clark S's, but Jack Harding, the frustration here is that Jack actually has a really quick car. I don't know what happened in qualifying. It was, I believe, a damp qualifying session yesterday, and that may well have contributed to his issues and his lowly starting position, but Jack Harding in race trim, in dry conditions, quite clearly has pace. If he can get past Aidan Hills, might just have the potential to go after the leading 2, but he has to do it early in the race, because if he leaves it too late, he'll have too much work to do. Again, he pulls to the outside into the complex, but that's never likely to work. Aidan Hills, though, is all out of shape through the left-hander, and Jack Harding, well, almost, I thought there might have been a chink of an opening on the inside, but there just wasn't room. Into the hairpin he goes. Aidan Hills defending nicely. We saw him defend very well at Alton Park for that 1st victory when he had that queue of cars stacking up behind him. First of all, his teammate Luke Herbert, and then of course Jack Harding arrived on the scene. So Aidan Hills looking in his mirrors now. This will be a very familiar sight, having the blue, red, white AK Automotive 43 car filling his mirrors. For the time being, Jack Harding, who has scythed his way through the field with relative ease up to this point, is having some real difficulty getting past Aidan Hills. We saw from Alton Park last time out that there are no team orders amongst Aidan and Luke, but it's definitely the case that Aidan will be aware of the benefits, as far as his teammates are concerned, of him keeping Jack Harding at bay. He also wants to keep him at bay because he wants a podium finish for himself, of course. Now Harding's trying this outside line again into Tower, trying to just time the cutback, and this time he's done it a bit better, just about nuzzles his way alongside. So side by side for 3rd place, Aidan Hills on the inside for the way into the Jim Clark S's, but Jack Harding is going to try and go right round the outside, gives him the inside line for the next few corners, and that was some real brave driving there from Jack Harding, but it's exactly what he needed to do, and he is finally free into some clean air with which he will try to close in on the leading 2. Aidan Hills only loses to 1 place despite running off wide onto the runoff area there through the exit of the S's, and so manages to stem the flow, but he'll still have potential for Will Stacey behind. Feeling the need to defend though just yet is Aidan, so he's now going to try and follow Jack Harding if at all possible. You can see already Jack is starting to gap the cars behind. Aidan Hills, Will Stacey, and then Lewis Carter. Really impressive performance this weekend for Lewis Carter. 73 machine looking at possibly a top 5 here. He's Hills in 6th at the moment. He's going for 5th though. He's up alongside Will Stacey on the exit of the hairpin, but as is often the case there, the outside line, whilst it leaves the door open through the corner, it does tend to give you a bit more momentum off it. So here's Blake Baldwin leading the race then, and he and Luke Herbert almost do sense to be working together here. Luke will know that he had a good opportunity to take some points out of Jack Harding in this race, so maybe didn't want to take too many risks, didn't want to hold himself up by getting involved in a real scrap with James Blake Baldwin. So James, who comes into this race having taken victory 3 times this year, he's been on the podium 11 times, one of the more consistent drivers out there, but that disqualification from Castlefield for contact that he had with Steve Roberts has very much put him out of the championship hunt now, unfortunately. So Luke Herbert behind him in a position, well, no longer actually in a position to take the championship lead, because with Jack Harding in 3rd and Luke in 2nd, that is only a 2-point gain, and he's 4 points behind coming into the race. There is Harding gapping Aidan Hills now, and of course the other potential benefit here for Harding being in clean air is that he can now maybe go after the fastest lap, which in itself is worth 2 points. So if Harding could set that fastest lap, and he's arguably the best position to do so because he's not being held up by anybody, that could really benefit him. Aidan Hills though is not benefiting his chances of holding on to this 4th place because he ran wide on the grass there out of Sunny, and so Will Stacey and Lewis Carter are now ever closer to him. Notice the rear bumper is trading a bit loose on Aidan's car as well, so he's had a whack from behind from somebody. Aidan Hills has got Lewis Carter looking to the outside of him into the hairpin, and look at the way that Aidan's car is slithering around. Now it's bone dry out there, there's no rain at the moment, although there is a little bit of rain in the air, and there has been all morning, but it's not raining right now, so that can only tell me that his rear tyres are starting to not exactly go off, but overheat certainly. That's been an issue on occasion for a few drivers this year. And you can see again there through Clervaux, the car just not very happy at the rear end, so Aidan doing a good job to hang on to this. Of course, he is a man with a rallycross background, which means he's familiar not only with a loose handling car, but also very familiar with at least the first half of the Croft circuit, because that's the part of the circuit that's used on the rallycross course. You can see the rallycross course there over to the right as they head down the back straight. So all of this part of the track on the far end might be a bit alien to him, but he's certainly very, very confident through the first sequence of corners. But down at Tower, he's under pressure. Will Stacey's up the inside line. There's a whiff of tyre smoke as they rub wheels, but Aidan Hills still tenaciously hanging on from another one of the Rob Boston racing cars. Rob Boston had a few lengthy repair jobs to do this year. Don't forget, Will was involved in that scary accident in race 2 at Silverstone earlier on in the year, having just taken victory in the season opener. And there are many people questioning what could have been for Will Stacey, and if indeed he does decide to stick around for next year, which we sincerely hope he does, then he has to be added to this ever-growing list of potential champions. It is looking more and more like a 2-horse race for the 2018 title, but there are another 4 or 5 drivers at least who feel that they could contend next season. These 3 are getting ever more sideways though as they head once again through the complex. But we are going safety car, and this changes everything because Nick Rutter is off at Clervaux, and the car, another Rob Boston racing car, unfortunately not enjoying quite the success that his teammates are. The 99 machine in the gravel trap, out of the race, and this enormous cushion that James Blake Baldwin and Luke Herbert have built up will now disappear, and most significantly it means there will be no cars whatsoever separating Herbert and Harding, which of course there haven't been for a few laps. There have been about 6 or 7 seconds between the two of them. Now that will come down to absolutely nothing. So game on here in the first race of the day at Croft. For the championship, things are starting to get very, very tasty indeed. Here's a replay of what happened to Nick Rutter, who arrives at Clervaux and then doesn't really get through it. The car just spears straight off into the gravel trap. It's a harmless off, as in there'll be no damage, but a gravel rash maybe to the car. They'll have to clear the gravel and dust out of various areas internally, but the car itself appears to be undamaged. But unfortunately, that is a dangerous position, and they will have to get that car removed. So the yellow flags are out, the safety car boards are out. It gives us all a moment to just pause and assess the situation. One other thing we have to take into account as far as the championship battle is concerned is dropped scores. The drivers drop their worst 3 scores for the season. And at the moment, that makes for quite interesting reading because Jack Harding, his 3 worst finishes this year have been 5th places. He's had 3 5th place finishes. On only one other occasion has he been off the podium. In fact, 4 races this year he's not been on the podium. He's never finished worse than 5th, so it's been wonderful consistency for the championship leader. So he is dropping 460 points. Compare that to Luke Herbert, though, who's had a 7th, a 6th and a 4th place finish from earlier on in the season. In fact, 2 of those, the 7th and the 6th place finishes, were the first 2 races of the year. Not really the ideal way to start his title defence. So he is only dropping 273 points, but it means that Jack Harding has this little bit of a cushion. If he were to have a bad race, it wouldn't necessarily be the end of the world, because that would then become one of his drop scores. It all gets a bit complicated. It's bound to come into effect at some point over the last 5 races of the season. One of these 2, it always is the way, just when you think you've got your head around the point situation, one or more of the championship contenders have a non-finish or something, and it all changes once again. But that's how the drop scores work at the moment. So essentially, if Jack Harding were to finish out of the top 5 in any of the remaining races, that becomes one of his drop scores, and in essence he gains a few points back that he'd previously lost. So it's all a bit complicated. It's basically there as a system, particularly at this sort of level of racing, or if a driver, for whatever reason, has to miss a round, for example, due to a budget, damaged car or whatnot, they can then count that round as a drop score, and it doesn't take them automatically out of the championship hunt. So there's a good reason for it being there. As complicated as it makes my job trying to keep up with the point situation, but right now it's not relevant because both of them are in the top 3, so neither of them will be counting this as a drop score. This is a straight-up race out on the track. So James Blake Baldwin leads the way, the man who could have been champion had it not been for that disqualification at Castle-Combe. Then it's Luke Herbert in 2nd, then Jack Harding in 3rd, and Aidan Hills in 4th. Now this safety car coming at a good moment for Aidan as well, to potentially try and cool things off, cool the rear tyres off, try and take stock of the situation, figure out exactly what's wrong with the car, and maybe be able to launch an attack to possibly retake 3rd place from Jack Harding, although Jack has been doing all of the overtaking in this race. He's not yet been overtaken by anybody, and he won't be wanting that overtaking process to start now. His eyes are forwards. He will definitely want to get ahead of this man, Luke Herbert, because whilst 3rd place is good and it would mean that he held on to the championship lead, 2nd place would be better because it would mean that he extended the championship lead, and that really does potentially play nicely into his hands going into these last, after this point, 4 races of the season, because every point is going to matter. That has been apparent right the way throughout the season. These 2 have been inseparable in the points all year long, and it does seem increasingly likely that this championship is going to be decided by a couple of points at best. It could even come down to a tiebreaker. Incidentally, if that were to be the case, both Jack and Luke, again, proving how equally matched they've been, have had the same number of race victories. They've had 5 wins each coming into this round. Have Jack and Luke, they're both therefore looking for their 6th this weekend. If they're going to do it in this race, though, they'll have to get ahead of James Blake Baldwin, looking for his 4th victory of the season. We're about to find out what's going to happen though, because the safety car is coming in this time. We're about to go racing once more with James Blake Baldwin, Luke Herbert and Jack Harding the top 3. There will be battles right the way through the field, but that is where my attention is going to be directed, because that is the championship battle right there between the 2nd and 3rd place cars at the moment. The lights off on the safety car, it pulls into the pit lane. We are racing once more at Croft. There's Will Stacey running in 5th place still. See if he can resume the attack on Aidan Hills for 4th. Not a great restart there for Harding, though, as we said. So Blake Baldwin and Herbert just put a small gap on the restart. What this may well mean is that Luke Herbert feels obliged to start attacking James Blake Baldwin a bit more, because beforehand he had this nice comfortable margin back to Jack Harding in 3rd. Could sort of afford to settle for 2nd place, but that is not the case now. He has to keep on pushing, because Jack Harding, you would imagine, will be right on his tail, but Jack actually at the moment is not that close. If anything, he's got his eyes towards the mirrors, because Aidan Hills is right with him, so battle for the lead is allowed to continue uninterrupted, with Blake Baldwin still less than a car length ahead of Herbert, as has been the case since the start of the race. Harding 3rd, Hills 4th, with Stacey in 5th position as they race their way through the Jim Clark S's. Now high speed, these cars flat out, left-right sequence at the far end of the circuit, then do another flat out right-hander at Barcroft, and Herbert just taking the slightly tighter line there, just trying to apply the pressure to James Blake Baldwin. For the second half of the lap, you'd have to say that Jack Harding may be starting to close back in again, but Herbert couldn't get any closer to Blake Baldwin, who possibly for the first time all race is going to have to start thinking about defending, although it's telling that he didn't need to defend down into the complex. Maybe there is some sort of agreement between these two not to race each other too hard, so as to end up falling into the clutches of Harding, but I don't think there's anything they can really do about it. Harding is coming anyway. He's right with them as they head into the final corner. In fact, he's on the inside of Luke Herbert. He's into the side of Luke Herbert's car there very nearly as they came through the hairpin. So Jack Harding, through the final third of that lap, really did get his foot down and closed right back in as we start the final lap of the race. So Luke Herbert in second position maybe now has to forget about winning the race and instead concentrate on keeping Jack Harding behind at all costs. If things finish as they are now, he will be 2 points behind Harding. If he lets him through, he'll be 6 points behind. That is the difference this makes. Interestingly, James Blake Baldwin just set the fastest lap of the race as well, so unless either of these two go quicker on this final lap, he will take the 2 bonus points for the fastest lap. So that is not going to come into play as far as the championship contenders are concerned. Towards Tower. Jack Harding again is not quite close enough to go on the inside, but it's through this next sequence of corners, the high-speed stuff out the back. That's where Harding seems to excel. We're on board with the championship leader now as we head down toward the Jim Clark S's in between the trees, through the left, avoiding the tyre stack on the inside of both of these corners. And heading down into Barcroft. Is he close enough to start building a challenge maybe down towards Sunny Inn? Luke Herbert will be seeing it coming and so moves over to the inside of the road there to defend. It's a bobble under braking though does Luke, who in turn is closing back in on Blake Baldwin. They're all going to get sandwiched together here towards the end of the lap, and James Blake Baldwin will also have to start thinking about defending to hold on to the race victory here. 3 more corners to go through the left at the complex, hard onto the brakes into the right-hander, but it's all about the hairpin, and we see so many last lap overtakes at this tight final corner, one of the slowest corners in British motorsport. Luke Herbert though has seen it all before. He knows that's where the attack was going to come. He pulls over to the inside line to defend. He's a bit sideways off the corner, but I don't think Harding's going to do it. Neither of them though are going to catch James Blake Baldwin, who takes his 4th victory of the season. Luke Herbert though is very happy with second place because he beats his championship rival Jack Harding. Confirmation of the result then: Blake Baldwin, Luke Herbert and Jack Harding the top 3, as it's been so many times this year, with Aidan Hills 4th, Will Stacey 5th, then it's Simon Baldwin, Lewis Carter, Richard Wickland, Carl Garnett and Nick Dunn rounding out the top 10, ahead of Christian White, Darren Stapleton, Gary Townsend, Alec Livesley and Mark Swarbrick. Steve Roberts did continue in 16th place after slowing, and then a whole host of drivers who sadly didn't make it to the end, most notably possibly Johnny Greensmith, another non-finish.
Started pole, came first, happy?
Yeah, no, you can't get a better result than that really. Sadly yesterday was obviously cancelled, so that was a bit of a shame because I believe we had the pace to win yesterday's race. But no, that went really well, can't complain.
Well, it looked really tough out there, and at the last second they were right behind you on that finish straight.
Yeah, it's really difficult today. There's a really strong toe behind. So, yeah, every time you'd sort of gain an advantage there, Luke could be immediately in the toe and straight up on my back bumper again. But no, it was really, really great, really clean racing. We came out on top, so thank you to Blink Motorsport for doing an amazing job.
Brilliant, well, we'll let you go and enjoy the win.
Thank you very much.
4th to 2nd, just how did you do that?
My starts have been good this year, so I got off the line and got behind James, and I knew that James wants wins. I want points ahead of Jack, so the sensible thing to do was to work with James, get away as far as we can, try and get the fastest lap, which I had to the last lap when James took it off me. Yeah, just to get points on Jack. I saw he came through, and then the safety car came out, and it's like all that hard work, for nothing. But yeah, the results stayed the same. I still finished 2nd. Unfortunately, not the fastest lap, was me and Jack would be level in the championship, but yeah, great.
Jack, you were mid-pack to the beginning of the race and you've managed to come storming through the pack. You must have just been determined, nothing else.
Yeah, exactly. We made a mistake yesterday in qualifying. We chose the wrong setup, so we was on a dry setup, dry tyres on a wet track, so it wasn't going to go well. So qualified 12th and 14th, and we knew they were going to be hard work with Luke being up there. But no, to come from 14th to 3rd, I couldn't have asked for anything better really. Safety car came out and it brought us all close together again, and I thought, oh, there's a bit of a chance, but I'd killed my tyres coming through the field. So, but no, 3rd's great.
Well, you finished 0.2 of a second behind Luke, so have you got any plans to obviously the reverse grid this afternoon?
I think we've got the pace, to be honest. I think, like I said, I killed the tyres coming through the field, but I'd like to think that I've got probably a little bit of a pace advantage over the top 2. But we don't know, do we? We'll see in the last race, but hopefully we'll get one over him.
Brilliant, right, well, we'll look forward to this afternoon.
Great, thank you very much.